Hey there, Deadly Class fans. Tonight's episode was wild as usual. We have nipple bunny costumes. We have disembowelments. We have tons of shit. We have talking heads. We also have a very special guest in studio tonight. So take your seats because class is in session.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Welcome back to the Deadly Class After Show. We are so excited to be back to talk about this amazing show. Tonight, we are talking Season 1, Episode 7, Eye Against Eye. And just as a fair warning, this episode will be explicit. There will be a lot of curse words, so I didn't even say one, but we got a curse jar.
How's your kids?
We are this will be filled by the end of the night. Let me just take a moment to introduce my amazing panel. To my left, we have Ravien French.
Hello.
To her left, we have Stephen Lemieux.
Hello.
And to his left, we have Angelica Trae.
Hello, hello.
And all the way over here, I am Veronica Valencia. And as I had mentioned, we have a great, great special guest. We will not let animals near him. His character wants to be a movie star, have book deals, and if you call him Chester, he will come after you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Stevens, Mr. Face, Mr. Fuckface!
All right.
I am so PG, it's insane. Coming up later in the episode, we're obviously going to be talking all about Fuckface with Tom. We will be talking Gao, and Lynn will be talking Willie and Gabrielle's relationship, as well as everything that goes on with the Scorpio Slasher. But before we get into any of that, guys, what did we think of this episode?
Wow.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. As you kind of nailed it. There was disembowelments. There was talking heads, and not in the way
She
that.
said nipple bunny suits.
Nipple bunny
Yes.
suits.
I
Nipple
didn't
bunny
wear
suits.
mine today, guys. I apologize.
I
It's at the dry
specifically
clean.
asked you to.
It's at the dry cleaners.
Next time.
It was terrible. So if you guys are hearing everything, just so know that you'll be hearing that a lot.
If you are listening to us in audio, we apologize in advance.
But we don't apologize because we're going to say fuck a lot.
Fuck!
I put in 2, so that's
Great.
for both of
Perfect.
us. Overall thoughts on the episode, great episode. Last time we had Benjamin on, he said the show might have peaked at Vegas, and I completely disagree with him. I think it's only getting better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the show did a wonderful deep dive into sort of what we call good, what we call bad, and maybe a little bit further into everyone's kind of own personal brand of insanity in this show. So I was really enjoying that, and I'm excited to see and talk about it a little bit more.
Yeah, the characters are fuller. We're getting a sense of everybody more, which I really love. Madame Gao is becoming my Chico. Okay, I don't like her.
But Fuckface is up there for you?
He's so likable.
Right, I don't mind Fuckface. I don't mind him.
It really.
What?
I don't know.
What?
I don't like. Okay.
I've been
this
getting
is gonna
so
be-
much slack for
I
Chico.
feel like I'm gonna sound like you in a second, but
Wouldn't that be horrible?
I feel like even though it doesn't make sense to most other humans, in Fuckface's mind, he makes sense to him. It's a purpose and an intention, and there's a drive because of what happened to him. Gal just seems like she wants to mess everyone up for no. I'm sure there's going to be a reason, but it just feels like she's a bully to me.
I'm sure we're going to talk about it later, but I just want to say, like, we got a little bit of her backstory this episode too, though, and she also was changed at the age of 8 irreparably.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think a
And
lot.
her child.
Yeah, I mean, what I really liked about this episode is it dives really deep on how, regardless of how normal people think they are, everyone has some level of insanity, even the real world. I mean, we're introduced in the backstory with the lady who ran that orphanage, which we'll get into when you get to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like everyone in this world of Deadly Class is insane on some level, even if they don't think they are.
No, I agree with all of you. I thought this episode was so fun and entertaining, and it just keeps getting wilder and wilder, and I'm here for it. The crazier it can be, the happier I am.
Don't worry, Fuckface will give it to you.
I was just about to ask Tom, how was it filming this episode for you? It's crazy.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I call this one the origin story for Fuckface because you get to see all like what happened. in the bathtub scene, he gets to have a little bit of a therapy session with Chico's head. He gets to talk about what his dad did. I also kind of played with a lot of what makes Chester fuckface, like what makes him do what he does, and the fuckface that you see. I know. Hold on, just put like 10 in
I'll
right
put it
now.
to the
Put
side.
10
I'll
in.
put
Put
it to
10
the
in.
side.
Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'm cleared for a bit.
There you go. You're good.
He's
So,
clear for takeoff.
I played him like he had a mask that he put on. When his face was blown off, he went from being Chester to being fuckface. And fuckface protects Chester from what scares him, and that's his father. So he's got this rage in him that is instilled from his father, and fuckface is kind of like this middle ground for him that keeps him going and keeps him from either killing himself or like putting him, like, you know, going too far and really like fucking up his life. So in a weird way, he's like kind of satiating what the anger that his dad gave him, and he's protecting the little 8-year-old kid. And I think that's the kid that comes out in the bathtub when he takes off that mask. So
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, and I knew that.
yeah, that's why you like the guy.
Right. Yeah, you sensed that. He took off that mask for Chico. I'm just kidding.
Chico. Well, speaking of origin stories, we finally get the background of the boys' home, which has been teased since the very first episode. What did you guys think about this being revealed? Because since the beginning, Marcus has been our protagonist. We've always been rooting for them, but this showed him in a very different light. So I just want to get Angelica, Steven, and Ravien, all of your opinions on what you thought of this reveal.
I loved it. I thought it was great because, I mean, last episode we kind of discussed it a little bit that we kind of felt that Fuckface was upset more because Marcus stole his rep than actually burning down the boys' home. And we never really knew what the whole deal with it was because we all assumed that, or I'm going to say I assumed that Marcus left the boys' home before it was on fire, or Fuckface lit it on fire and Marcus escaped. I didn't think it was like to the level that Marcus had a huge hand in that actually happening. So I was very surprised at how dark Marcus got in those moments because it was very unexpected based on what we've seen of him so far. Because we've seen him being very remorseful of killing Rory, and we've seen how that has affected him so far. And if you're going to like play it to the parents were killed by Reagan, I mean, there's so many people at that facility that were technically killed by Marcus. So are they going to come after him in the future, or is Fuckface like the embodiment of anyone at the boys' home going after him? We're assuming the mistress died, right? Yeah, she died in the fire.
She died.
So, like, I guess nobody would really grieve for her or come after Marcus for it, but
Yeah,
I don't know.
I didn't expect it so soon. I thought it'll be the next episode or after, but Chester was the ultimate bully, so it kind of makes sense that
he
that
doesn't
was
like bullies.
eating away at little Marcus.
Upon seeing it, I was like, youch, like that's crazy, Marcus doing all of these things. But afterwards, I reflected on it a little bit more, and I noticed that it wasn't anything against what Marcus was previously saying. And it was honestly in line with it. It was just actually seeing it play out and the sort of depths and darkness that Marcus had, you know, sort of devolved into to get to that point at the boys' home, I thought was a lot of character growth. And it was very defining for us, and it was very visceral. So it was like, whoa, Marcus, that's harsh.
Yeah. For me, it was always, and this can even be said about him currently, is that Marcus always goes into these things with good intentions. He never wanted to kill people in the boys' home. He just wanted to get them exposed for the years of all the abuse that these adults were putting on these kids. And so, but it also just he did deal with a lot of bullies. And I want to pose this question to you, Tom. Do you think Marcus his intention always was wanting to kill Chester because he just was sick of him, or just cause him pain?
Yeah, I think it's something kind of hunkering back to what you were just talking about. It for Marcus, it doesn't seem like he is like Chester, but I think that like he is the person that needs to be at this school because deep down he is a killer. And I said it before in the trailer, those Needles, he's like, I may have had enough yesterday, but he keeps going. He likes the pain. He likes to go that extra mile. And, I mean, you poison somebody and then you light a bomb off in front of their face. It could have been not enough poison to kill him. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe he just threw whatever he was able to steal from the kitchen. And then he lights his bomb off, shoots those guys in the knees. Like, that's some violent shit.
Yes.
That's some, like...
Torture.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll put it here. There you go.
Can I jump off that
Yeah,
point
yeah.
really quick? Because I think it was really interesting for me with the Needles, because we haven't quite seen this so much yet, but that just goes to show how far Marcus is willing to go to get to the ends that he wants to justify. So somebody who will put needles in their cheek day after day that says they're going to kill Reagan, I mean, I can only see this show ending with Reagan being killed. That's like me right now. But I also want to kind of bring up Eye Against Eye is the name of the episode. And we see a lot of similarities between Marcus's character and Fuckface, or Chester at the time. But what I just kind of realized was the eye that Marcus has, that's his right eye. Right? His right eye is messed up because we find out that Fuckface is the one that carved it out. And then the bomb goes off and it messes up Chester's left eye.
Yeah.
So it's kind of funny with the Eye Against Eye. It's like you guys are two halves of the same kind of weird coin.
Yeah, I was going to say this earlier, but I say Fuckface is Deadly Class's Joker. And there's that great scene in Dark Knight when he says, don't talk to me. Or don't talk like them. You're not like them. You're like me. And it's like Batman, Joker, they have as much in common as they do that makes them enemies. And I think it's the same thing with Marcus and Fuckface.
So cool. Plus, you bring the humanity to the character. I like that you told us just a second ago that you created a second personality for Chester. So that way you can still retain the humanity and have an excuse for Fuckface being Chester, but then also do all these terrible deeds and still bring it back to be like, well, that's just the other me.
Yeah, and I mean, like, who's the kid that was running around having that, like, that lassie childhood with this dog? I mean, he didn't like how I loved her. You can take that line as, like, was he fucking the dog as a kid? Or was he just happy and a kid and, like, 8 and just enjoying his life, and his dad didn't want to see him be happy because he was just a brutal, bad person. And that little boy still exists no matter what happens. You can like be put in like a concentration camp and come out the other side and still have some piece of innocence in you, even though you've seen some really, really dark shit, if you were like a sweet child to begin with. And that's kind of one of the reasons why Fuckface is fun to play, because he's got this like boy in him and who comes out and plays, but also stabs people and breaks people's necks and puts them in cages and bunny suits, nipple bunny suits.
Nipple bunny suits. What I found interesting about this is, like, obviously our main group of characters, we can all find some sort of way to feel sympathetic towards them because they've all have these very heartbreaking and dark past that we've seen revealed. I'll be honest, maybe it was Chico and Fuckface were the only two people that I thought, I don't know if I'll ever feel sympathetic towards them. But then, of course, this episode, I was not expecting to get that idea of, oh, I felt safe in the boys' home. Did it suck? Yes, but I felt safe there because I had this really shitty upbringing.
Yeah, it's better than what I came from. They were mean, but not as mean as my dad, who, coincidentally, he doesn't know this, but Chico's dad is as brutal. You know what I mean? His like, you know, whatever you want to call this affectation of Chico that's on the head still has some connection, the soul, whatever. We were talking about that earlier in the trailer. Like, how is he having Chico say this? It's all Fuckface's words coming out of Chico, but still he talks about his father.
It's interesting with kind of French's take on the whole thing, where he mentions that he basically breaks down Fuckface in like an order of like, this is what he did. It's like you're not getting love from any of these areas, so you imprint your love onto something else. And in his case, it was dogs, because dogs were something that would give him love no matter what he did to them. So it's kind of interesting thinking about it now to apply that to other characters and how Chico might have done that to Maria. And like thinking about that, you're like, damn, if he was treating Maria like an object and she just had no choice but to love him.
Yeah.
it makes things really dark and deeper. And I'm wondering if there's other characters you can think that we could attribute that to. I mean, Liam had his brother and mother, luckily, but I feel like his father was probably just as bad as Fuckface's father.
Yeah.
But Liam also killed his dad. And we learned that Fuckface killed his dad, dropped a Trans Am on him.
They all should be in the same fucking support group.
I'm upset the King's Dominion didn't recruit Fuckface.
Assassins Anonymous.
Well, that's the thing, though, right?
But
like,
even
who should be in
acknowledge
the
him.
school? They don't know where he is. Like they have their systems and everything, but Fuckface is elusive. I say that he's kind of like Mr. Magoo. You know, he walks off the beam in the construction site, lands on another beam. You know, he kills people openly in an alleyway with people 50 feet away and nobody notices because it's San Francisco. And he takes a police officer in the very first episode and obviously holds him captive long enough to hear that call out that we saw this boy at this house party and that's how he finds the home. You know, like he's unstoppable in his mind. He just like keeps going and never he's not going to get caught.
I wonder where have you been all this time? Just taking animals?
Taking animals.
Well, I probably would have to go find my people because, you know, I have like assembled my crew in that home.
What a great crew. We got Jimmy John. Poor Jimmy John.
Graham.
Graham. We just got.
Should we say poor Jimmy John?
Yes.
Moment of
Jaden.
Jimmy John.
Okay.
Jaden.
He's founded his own little PETA, People for the Erotic Treatment of Animals.
Jaden will always be our hardest kill, but Jimmy John really got the shit torn out of him this episode.
He had a rough day.
He had a very rough
So
day.
you had a bad day. You dipped it all. You got disemboweled and you turned it around. No.
I mean, that was
He
the
didn't
most
turn it
gruesome
around.
kill. Right.
Yeah.
Poor
You
guy.
didn't even mention the poop.
I mean, he got to meet his hero. Or I guess that's Fuckface's hero.
It's
now.
Fuckface's
That's
We
hero.
don't know what Jimmy John really
That's
wanted.
a fun turn though in that scene. Like it's like they call me the Scorpio Slasher, but I also do disembowelments, and it's like, holy shit, you're him. Oh,
Such
Meet
a
your-
good line,
I
too.
know. Better than a car show with Adam West.
Well,
I think my favorite French line this episode's still like, give me some slack, I'm in the city.
Give me some slack, motherfucker. I'm in the city.
Amazing.
Yeah, so we had like 9 fucks an episode or something like that because it's like
Wow.
for the rating you have to stick to like a certain number of fucks, and so like finding all the fun ways of saying fuckface without saying fuck, so you don't just burn through all your fucks.
Mr. Face.
Mr. Face.
Do you want to throw like $10 in there real quick?
Look, I collected.
Let's go.
$10.
You
So-
go ahead.
in
You go
there.
ahead.
that's
So-
like 40 coins.
I was like going to Rick and going like, take some of my fucks away and give them to French because French is so fucking funny. Please give him some of my fucks. You can take this fuck. You can take this fuck. I don't care.
You have too many fucks to give.
I usually got to say at least one fuck or my name gets said, and it was just yeah. That when I heard about that line, like, give me some slack, motherfucker, we're in the city. It's like,
You're like, yes. That's
It's
where
like-
one of the fucks went.
You're delegating fucks.
Exactly.
I
You're
was
fuck, they're
fuckface.
It's,
You were saying, you said that one was improvised, right? Or
That
no?
line, yeah.
Yeah. How much do you actually get to improvise? Because your character is so kooky.
Yeah.
I feel like you can do a lot.
I do a lot. I mean, obviously, like, the scripts are amazing. Like, Rick and Miles and all the writers, everybody that's working on them, you get these, like, my scenes, sometimes you work a show and it's like they'll just take chunks and move them, but if they give you a scene, it's like maybe a line will change or adjust, but they'll never be like, oh, we'll just take part B and put it before there and da-da-da. So, like, the dialogue is really, really effective, and it tells a really clean story. And so that didn't really change. But then in those moments where, like, in the alleyway scene, they're like, all right, your line is, and you've just been cast, and the next moment is you stab him. And I'm 25 feet away. And I'm like, my God, you look like you should be on television. Look at that face. And I just, like, started, like, ad-libbing that. And Paco, the director, was like, that's so good, that's so good. One line, I don't know if it's going to be in the later episodes, but there's one improv line that if it stays, I'm so happy.
Well, we got something to look
Oh,
forward
I
to.
know. We
Yeah.
gotta look out for
If it airs, can you tweet us and let us know that's the line?
Yeah. If it airs, I'll let you know.
Amazing.
The hint is it's outside.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh,
Yeah.
ooh. I'm just gonna be
love
like
clues.
super aware of everything
Outside
that
your
happens in the
box.
next couple of episodes.
It was his intestines. They were outside.
Yeah, those are outside.
Those are outside. And if you guys are outside here, you know what you guys can do to help support the show?
What can they do, Steven?
Oh, I was asking. I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. They can hit that subscribe button because it doesn't cost you a penny. It doesn't cost you one of these quarters that we use to say fuck. All you got to do is hit that subscribe. You can hit that like right now. And after this video is over, you can leave a comment because the live chat comments don't save. So if you're listening on iTunes, you can leave a comment there. On YouTube, you can leave a comment there. And make sure that you tell us why you like the show. Or if you don't like the show, still give us 5 stars, but tell us why you don't like the show, and we'll try to make it better. We do this for you guys. We do this for the fans. We bring in great actors for you guys.
Fuck yeah.
The fans.
Bring in fuck jars.
We're running out of money over here, Tom. But thank you guys so much. Being a part of AfterBuzz TV has meant so much to me, and I hope it means so much to us because we've been a part of a community in Hollywood that's well vetted and has just so many cool members that are like really there for each other, which I think is really special to have in this industry because as we've learned with Fuckface, a lot of people come out to this industry thinking, you know what? All of my needing therapy issues will be solved if I get on TV. And that is the industry we're in because a lot of people actually have that mindset.
Fame heals your insides. Dick Clark said that.
Dick Clark did say that. But we're not surrounded by those kind of people here. We got great people like Angelica, Ravien, and Veronica. And it's been a pleasure to host with you guys so far.
Aww.
So we give
Stop
all these
it.
shows for free.
Stop
Thank
it.
you for supporting us. Thank you all for being a fan. And please support us in that way.
Hit thumbs up.
Hit it like Willie hit that.
Hey,
Speaking of Willie hitting that, guys, this is kind of the first relationship that we see kind of being okay, being normal. But do we have faith? It will work. It will last.
Nope.
No.
I think that it will last forever. He said it. He said it when he met her.
Because they will die.
Do you really think that?
I love stories where the guy's like, I'm going to marry that girl. And then he does. And I think that's going to happen in Deadly Class because everything that's positive happens in this show.
Right.
Everyone gets a happy ending. Jaden gets a happy ending.
Jimmy John.
Jimmy John got a happy ending.
After
You know
the
what?
best day of his life.
I'm going to tell you right now, Jimmy John did get a happy ending because he is going to get to enter the gates of heaven alongside French as a slave, which is what anyone could want. He doesn't murder people without reason.
That's actually one of my favorite things in that is French's character is so so kind of like level. And he's like got this like crazy like ability to like read people, and then at the very core of it, it's complete gibberish. I'm gonna go up to space people, and they're gonna be my sex slaves. It's like, yeah, that's one of the greatest punchlines of that character.
But back to Willie, yes, I believe that it will last the entirety of Gabrielle's life.
It's already based off of lies.
Yeah.
Exactly. The entirety of Gabrielle's life.
The entirety
She's not
of
gonna
Gabrielle's life.
Did you just insinuate she's going to die?
I did not insinuate anything, but if that's what you're saying, tell me why.
I mean, it is a possibility that he could love her.
Let's just say
Until-
Mama probably don't want no trifling hoes.
What is going on?
I want to put this in there for that.
Speaking of love, maybe he's just displacing his love from
killing his daddy.
father.
Hey.
Everybody's got daddy issues tonight.
Yeah.
That's what this episode's about.
Everyone at King's Dominion's going to be a stripper.
Sure.
That'll be
No.
like the Vegas episode. It is not going to last unless she is also an assassin.
Oh.
That could be a plot twist if she is an assassin. But I just, as you were saying, Angelica, it's based off of lies. She's always going to want to know where he's running off to because things are obviously going to come up at King's Dominion. I just think it's flat out dangerous for him to bring someone who he assumes is innocent into this world because you got all these people who will go after your families and go after each other. So who's to say someone will not find out about her and try and go after her for motive, you know?
Exactly. It's like clearly you cannot keep humans secret. You cannot keep loved ones secret from King's Dominion.
I mean, he's got people in cages.
Yeah.
Well, Naya.
Oh, Naya, yeah.
Yeah, that too.
But only Gal would have found her.
Only Gal. But
Guys, there've been
that's all I'm saying.
so many connections with the Naya, Saya, and just Saya being connected to Master Lin in some kind of way. I just want them to tell us.
Well, let's talk about that real quick. Let's talk about how do we. You think, Ravien, that possibly Saya and Lin are connected with the realization of his daughter's name being Naya. There's something there.
And there were some other moments that we've had.
I disagree. And I used to think that too. I honestly used to think that, but I think it's just the naming is similar. Because they say that Naya is a name that's transferred through the generations. So that might not even be like her birth name. That might just be the name that he didn't want to put her into the guild, but he's still going to keep some of the traditions of his family. I don't know.
And the spelling's very different as well.
Yeah.
It is. He treats her like a daughter though. I just want to know. He has a certain affinity for her that he does not seem to have for the others.
Yeah, because she seems to be the most capable. And it's like, in a weird way, like, what do you think Lin's daughter would be if she was actually in it?
Yeah.
A part of him still is an assassin.
Yeah.
Oh man, that just opened my thought bubbles or whatever you want to call them, light bulb. Bing. The wife is Triad. Her tattoo on the back. She grew up Triad. She grew up in this world. Who's to say Naya's not being trained just by Lin's wife instead of the guild?
Ooh. A lot of stuff to think about.
Another thing, also, Ravien, you opened my eyes to something too, where Gabrielle could definitely be another gang member. Because where'd she come? She just shows up at where Willie's working and just shows up every day. Maybe she's into him, but maybe she's staking him out and trying to get close with him. Because, again, Willie's whole thing is if anyone in the families or anything found out the truth, he's out. He's a dead man and Mama looks weak. Maybe she's a hired spy to, like, figure out. Because he's already opening up to her.
Right.
Yeah.
She already
Which
dropped
is-
the panties.
What? That's so gross.
Opening up in more ways than one.
Guys, I hate the P word. I really do.
There are a lot of P words.
I hate
Which
You
P word?
Throw a quarter panties.
that one. They're underwear. Thank you.
I like it with the accent. Panties.
Panties.
You guys are just.
She seemed more like a thong person to me. I don't know.
Yeah.
No, that's Willie.
Willie's the thong person.
Willie's the thong person.
Oh my God.
Just Luke walking around.
Is there a story behind you saying that?
There is a picture for me and Jack. Jack has a picture of him just like naked with wearing a thong, but from like a mirror shot of his ass. And so I did this.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
I mean, I had to do like the whole modesty sock thing for that nude scene, right? I had just the thing on the front, but they had me walking around in like tighty whities with like a thong on underneath for some reason.
Like a bright pink thong?
It's like a skin tone.
Okay.
Yeah, but like there's one of me, like you can see my fuck face, and then it's up my ass. So I'm gonna get. Actually, no. Now I gotta post that picture.
I think you do now.
No, I was planning on doing it.
Please tag us in
Okay,
it. I've always wanted to be tagged in your ass.
All right.
I call left butt cheek. I
The
call left butt
AfterBuzz
cheek.
logo right over the.
Right in the seam of the crack.
Well,
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
that, you got to get the tattoo for continuity.
Commitment.
How long does that take?
2.5 hours. Yeah.
Oh, and people can see a time lapse of it because you're supposed.
Yeah, we just put it out today.
That's so cool.
Yeah, it's great. Look at Deadly Class Sci-Fi's Twitter, or look at my Instagram, Tom Stevens Actor. I just posted it, so
Perfect.
it's
Right.
pretty nuts. And I also, because it's a time lapse, right? I did this for 5 minutes, and I did this for 45 minutes.
Yeah, it felt like you
Right,
were holding
that
your arm up
counts.
for a long time.
Yeah, I go like this.
put
It
it-
took me 45 minutes to bring my arm up like this, and then make a thumbs up, and I held that, and then we started stacking cups on it and shit. And like we were just being Raven.
Well, you need to pass time when you're in a chair for
Yeah.
2.5 hours.
We would listen to podcasts, actually, serial killer podcasts.
Which one?
The Deadly Class After
Serial
Show.
killer podcasts.
Oh, serial killer
Yeah.
podcast. Okay.
I was trying to get them to listen to Dirty John.
Dirty John.
Yeah, so good. I listened to it on my own, but I did a lot of. There's like specific ones for serial killers and mass murderers, and I did that as research, and then because I would go down in my basement. I have a heavy bag, and I would just train, and I would listen to serial killer podcasts. That was my prep for Fuckface. That and an audio track that I would play, which was
Take on Me on repeat.
yeah.
Oh, that would kill
Rick
anyone.
roll. No, it was like I listened to this thing that was what schizophrenics hear. So it's a guy did this audio thing, like this project to make a soundtrack for what they hear, and it's like voices. And it's like, all his insecurities, his anger, his rage, his fears, his happiness, is why he shouldn't be happy. What schizophrenics are hearing all the time in their inner voice. And so I was like, what's Fuckface's inner voice? And so I have this track, it's the Fuckface Prep, it's on my phone. And I had to put it all over onto the right side because my left ear was cauliflower, so I couldn't put an earbud in that. And so I just would listen to this thing for like 5 minutes before shooting. And it's just like, it's intense, and it's a lot of screaming and noises and sound effects and really fucked up music. And it was fun.
Was it fun?
Yeah. It's definitely fun. It's like, as an actor, if you have something to grab onto, it's like, oh, yes, okay, this is the character.
Can I ask you, honestly, and I know we have to get back to Gal, but
We can stay here. This is great.
what is your moment before?
Before
Before they hit action, like, what do you use as a moment before to get into character for Fuckface?
physically, it's the ribbon that holds half my face down underneath the makeup. So when getting the makeup on, the first thing they do is, I still get chills thinking about it, is they glue a piece of ribbon, pull half my face down, and everything is forced out the side of my mouth. So I'm playing everything this way, and everything's kind of like dropping down in the gravelly voice.
Matthew
the accent.
McConaughey.
Yeah, exactly.
Was that your choice to kind of use that accent?
He was supposed to be the king of the hillbillies, and I went with a West Texan accent. Please don't attack me for this. It was also a character, and I did a lot of research. I was kind of I went with Natural Born Killers. Is it Juliette Lewis?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I went with her accent because she had this like really wild accent, this wild Texan thing. And like Woody Harrelson in that is just like, he's so smooth, but she's got these edges and these crazy peaks and valleys in how she talks. So I kind of went with her accent. As for a moment before, honestly, it's like once you get the face on and you got the wig on and you get the boots on and you get the jacket on and like everything I did, like my trainer and me, we found, like we looked at that, the silhouette of me in the goat scene in the comic.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I showed him that, and he's like, that's a grappler. That's a wrestler's body. So we were doing a lot of like forward stuff, big arm stuff, like and trying to get this like hunched look. And that was, once you start doing that and the music's going, it's like there's just like you can just pick and choose from anything. I just felt like I could drop into him really quickly. And it was really fun. And the funny thing is that watching it, I always feel kind of creeped out because I forgot about the face. And like, you can't see it, but I have this scar here because I bashed my face skateboarding when I was a kid. Knocked my teeth back. Like, I was mangled for like 3 weeks till I was fully healed. And it's crazy when you have a full facial disfigurement for a while because you know it's there. You know it's there. Then you forget about it. And then you're like going through McDonald's and somebody goes, and you're like, oh, right, I look like shit. Like, I look like a crazy person. I look like I just got in a car accident. And so the fun thing is I'd forget about the face until you see it and you're like, oh, right, I look like that. And then because I just played him fully for comedy because I thought it was so funny. Like, everything about it was super funny. And then all Fuckface has to do is just sit back. And just that dead eye, and the light glints it, and you're like, whoa.
Damn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dig
you got
it.
it down.
Yeah.
You're like the grown-up kid from Little Rascals with the mullet.
There's so many references in this show. I love it.
So funny. Well, I actually have another question that I posed to actually our panel and to you, Tom. Fuckface clearly wants Marcus's status. He wants to be where Marcus is. But I'm very curious if we think Fuckface could survive King's Dominion? Because he would be a rat. Would he be able to go with the rules and with the vibes, or would he just get killed, or would shit happen to him? Like,
Oh, you're posing that to everyone?
to everyone.
I think he'd flourish because I don't think he needs to kill. I think he needs power because he could have easily killed Marcus while living with him, but he didn't. He just terribly treated him horribly.
But
Also,
did he want to kill Marcus?
I don't know.
Was his intention ever murder, or did it like turn to murder? Because that's another thing too. Is like in the
Right.
boys' home.
We were just doing boys' home stuff.
Yeah.
Horseplay.
But let me ask
Took it too far.
Let me ask you this: you're gonna live at, it's just locker room talk. You're gonna live at King's Dominion, and you're living at this house in Shabnam's house, and he hasn't murdered all the people there either. So I feel like he would just be the cock of the walk at King's Dominion, and if anyone mistreated him, he'd just make their life hell.
Yeah.
Maybe he'd kill somebody, but he'd do it smart.
Well, he's also.
Well, he wouldn't. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. He'd also have the training. This is just raw natural talent. Could you imagine if you
He's a
put that-
prodigy.
Yeah, he is. He's like Mozart sitting down at the piano and playing and writing these orchestras and
That's true. He's almost like what's that metaphor? It's like a wax figure, like ice, and you can just chip him into the perfect assassin, probably.
yeah,
over
take
him.
away some of the like Lynn. If Lynn got a hold of Fuckface, he'd take away some of the crazy, and boost up some of the other crazy, and teach him explosives, poison, hand to hand. Like, whoo, he'd be deadly.
Oh man.
But you know what's tough though is that Fuckface likes the recognition,
Yeah.
and to be a good assassin, you need to be a silent
Yes, you
assassin.
have to be a ghost.
I don't think
Yeah.
he could. I don't think he would. I don't think Fuckface would do well because of that point,
Yeah,
Angelica.
that's a good
Because
point,
he
though.
wants to be infamous. He wants people to know his name. He would get caught right away. I mean,
Yeah.
he's pissed at Jimmy John for not doing his signature on his kill.
Yeah.
But here's my question: If Fuckface does get caught, couldn't he just end up like French, tied to a chair and being used as a teacher?
Ooh, that was something that actually
True.
went through my mind when we were watching French and how he's this teacher. Because of everything Fuckface is doing, could he be used as like a project to study?
Yeah.
Would he be brought in as a teacher because he is so crazy and raw talent, as you were saying?
More of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Yeah, more of a psychopath,
Serial
less of a
killer
killer.
versus assassin.
Right.
You know, it's funny because we're starting to have like, oh, this is all gray area, but now you're finding the color in that gray area of like what puts somebody on this side of the spectrum as opposed to this when they're all killing people.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, we have the what is it? The transitive property of mathematics, where it's if A equals B and B equals C, then A equals C. I think we have that with if French equals Marcus and Fuckface equals French, Fuckface equals Marcus. And we spend this whole episode making comparisons between French and Marcus, but you could very easily make those same comparisons with Fuckface and Marcus. So I don't know. Like King's Dominion should bring him in some form or fashion.
It's interesting too because now, as you're saying, Stephen, we're definitely seeing a lot of that this episode where Marcus used to think that he was this kind of noble person that justified all of his reasonings and thought that he was doing good by getting rid of, this evil. But there's obviously similarities between him, French, and Fuckface. Do we still kind of are we still kind of on Marcus's side, or do we think that? He is probably the most violent out of all of them.
I think we have to be on Marcus's side because the whole series kind of paints all these characters as victims of circumstance. And Fuckface is the only character that he is a victim of circumstance, but he's making his own victims after that. Marcus is still taking the punches and dealing with them as they come, as opposed to actively seeking out people to kill that have nothing to do with him. So I think in that way, Fuckface has to be the bad guy. Because Marcus doesn't like bullies, and Marcus isn't looking for people unrelated to him to murder. But in his own weird way, they are related to Fuckface because they're ditching dogs. So, I don't know.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, all of these similarities were all tying into each other, and we're almost seeing Marcus as such a turbulent character going through all of these, that horrible brooding, backstory at the boys' home. We are watching him get likened to these bullies Is he going to become the bully? Is he going to realize that towards the end, maybe of this season? Let's see.
And if fuckface, is that my first time saying it?
Is it really?
I don't know.
How did you go this
felt
whole
so-
episode
Put the
without
coin
saying
in the jar.
fuckface?
If
Oh
he
my
were
gosh.
In King's Dominion.
You need to say like 10 fuck faces right now.
Right,
Yeah,
fuckface. I can say it. If he were at King's Dominion, it will give the rats, I think, more. I don't think people will bother them as much because he would be there protecting them almost.
So you guys think that people like, if Chico were still alive, people like Chico and Victor would feel intimidated by fuckface? Do you think? Does anyone think?
I think Chico and Fuckface would be best friends like they are now.
Oh yes, I totally believe that. Yeah, it's like Chico is like, he's crazy. Like he comes from something, but he's like, I think he would see worth in Fuckface. If they were in the same class, he'd be like, you're crazy, man, but I see value in you.
I have a really good Chico Fuckface prediction.
Ooh, well, I think we should get into that right about now. Some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, so I think Maria's going to find out about Fuckface completely separate from Marcus and Saya going after him. I think that what's going to happen is Fuckface is going to get pinned for Chico's murder, and Diablo's going to go after Fuckface, but he'll have more than he bargained with. Because whatever his crony is that went into Maria's room, I think Fuckface kills him.
I think that's a good prediction too, because you have to start to think, who are they going to start thinking killed Chico? 'Cause
Yeah.
at this point, Chico's dead. They know he's dead.
And if anyone's going to take Fuckface and be like, hey, this is somebody that I want to recruit, maybe it's Madame Gao takes him privately, though.
Any thoughts for the coming episodes, Angelica?
Well, I agree with the Diablo one, and then I also think that maybe Saya is going to turn against Maria at some point. I'm definitely seeing that those seeds have been sown.
Yeah, I agree with the Saya and Maria, and especially because Marcus is showing more trust towards Saya, but also I'm wondering about Gal, and if her plan has to be to take over. So I'm wondering if that's going to happen. I almost don't want to predict it because she's pretty cold,
Yeah.
but
Also, people should watch the watch along because we had some pretty cool conversations about Gao and that. We didn't
Definitely.
dive deep on that because we kind of already did.
Yeah. But also good tidbits to hear, obviously. And then, Tom, are we going to see more Fuckface the rest of the season?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, this
Yeah.
isn't his last episode? He's not
fuck.
just gone?
Just disappear. What?
Why would you just disappear like
In
that?
the bunny
I have
suit.
them all.
Fuck yeah.
Disappears in his weird Mad Max bunny nipple suit car.
Fun fact. Fun fact of Fuckface.
Fun facts of Fuckface.
If you like fun facts, check out my Instagram, Tom Stevens Actor. Fun facts with Fuckface. There is a mannequin. Do you remember the scene when I make the phone call? And
yes.
I'm like,
Yes.
sup, pig cheeks?
Telling Marcus?
Yeah. It comes off my hand where I'm touching this mannequin's face. And it pans back. That mannequin stays as like the dolphin in Clone High.
Really?
Yeah, it's like they like stick it in like
Random places.
random places. Yeah, so keep
Hilarious.
an eye out for the mannequin.
Was it in the Golden Rib too? I bet it was.
So we've got an Easter egg situation
Yes.
here.
It's the
Okay.
pineapple from Psych.
Well, I'm just saying, we have so much to look forward to in the next couple of episodes, but unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for tonight. Angelica, where can the fans find you on social media?
Hello, I'm Angelica Trae. You can find me at A-Trae on most platforms, AYYTRAE.
You guys can find me on Twitter at Stephen Lemieux and on Twitch at twitch.tv/AfterBuzz because we got a Twitch channel now.
All social media, Ravien French.
And Veronica Valencia, you find me on Twitter and Instagram at It's Me, Veronica V. And Tom, you said it like twice tonight, but where can the fans find you?
Find me on Instagram and Twitter, Tom Stevens Actor.
Thank you so much for taking time to sit with us tonight. It was awesome having you for the watch along.
Yes.
It was awesome to talk
Woo!
this
Woo!
Fuckface
Thank
character
you.
with you.
Throw some quarters in the jar.
Quarters in the jar. Thank you so much, Daily Class fans, for tuning
There you
in.
go.
We will
You can put
see
some
you
in.
next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.